Hey there, I'm Carlos. I'm a software engineer. I've been working as a software engineer for more than 10 years in 4 different countries, small and big companies. And I'm going to use this channel to share with you my knowledge, to share with you my experience, and where you can also help me to improve what I'm what I'm been learning. So that's the only idea of this type of videos. So please stay tuned with me, log, and join to my channel if you want. Let's share together, let's grow up together, and also let's learn together. In this video, we are going to talk about, this is the first video of 2023. I'm going to talk about a great topic that I think you need to know. I think you need to know how to learn. And to be honest, I have a computer science degree, been like a lot of years studying hard, learning, reading. And I started this year doing an inventory of all the books that I have written. And I've tried to recall, I spent 1 month just trying to recall what I read for each book. I went day by day, week by week, week and night. I spent a lot of time, almost a complete month, trying to see what I was trying to do. I tried to do a test. This was like a test for me, because at some point I feel like, hey, I read a lot of books because I love it. I really enjoy it. I like to learn. I like to go deeper to any topic that that passes my mind. But at some point I start forgetting, and I hate that feeling. I really hate that feeling because we are spending a lot of time researching, writing code, finding issues, how to resolve those issues. And I didn't have like a structured system, a defined way to don't lose this type of knowledge. So I started to reading, I started to researching this topic, and I have a system already for learning. I'm going to share the system with you, but the series that we are going to start today is how we learn, how learning works, how our brain works, and how we are going to start using this type of technique for improve our learning. I'm going to share with you what I have been learning on my research. I've been reading like, I have 3 books already. One of these is Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Ford. It's this amazing book. It's a history of how Ford becomes a USA memory champion. And I was walking through this book, and I was thinking, hey, this guy is great. And there's a lot of tools here that I didn't knew that they exist, and I didn't know how to use it right now. So I'm practicing a lot with this technique that I've been trying. But mainly, the main thing is that you need to be aware that you need to have a system for you can learn to learn. That you need to have a system that at least you can use for learn. This is my opinion, and I want to share with you. I prefer to know 3, 4, 5, 6 books. I prefer to learn the main ideas, know the titles, what happens, what the summary of those books, what happened with the author of the idea that they were, why they have written this book. That having a lot of book in my side, in my backside, and I don't remember anything of them. So I think quality and also quantity matters here, because at the end is knowledge, and knowledge is what is going to change your work. But I'm being a lot of people in the internet saying, hey, I read like 100 books a year, 50 books a year. Yeah, I read a lot of them. I was one of them bragging about those vanity metrics, but I don't remember mostly everything. So I have in my mind a lot of good ideas, I think. But if those ideas are not well defined, are not clear in your head, you're not going to use it. You're not be, it's probably that you will not will be able to use them. So that's what I'm trying to share with you, my system. Let's see if we can improve it, if we can uh, improve it together. Okay, so the system has 3 stages of information knowledge management. So the first stage is, I call it stage number 1, is the funneling. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about what is funneling. In this stage, I create a process for listening and filtering when looking for references. I use to bookmark everything, as I think you also do this thing. So you start bookmarking everything, you start pushing content that you see online on a structured way, and you start using these to brag, hey, I read a lot. I was one of the guys that was spending a lot of time on Twitter learning from different guys. But at some point, as I told you, if you don't use it, if you don't have a defined and a clear goal in your mind on what you're going to learn and what you're going to study, or what are you learning, or what is your knowledge, you're not going to use it. And that's why I think this is pretty important. You need to define a stage. You need to define a structured system that has stages or not. You can call it whatever you want. I call it stages because at the end you need to have 3 stages. Let's keep talking about funneling. This the stage number 1. In funneling, the general idea is that you identify the best sources and authors, the best master on that specific topic, and you know how to select them properly. Because at the end, it's like you need a set of references, so you have a collection of reference, but you need to know where to start. If you know where to start, you're going to spend less time reading and researching papers and knowledge and concept and data that is not useful to you. So this is what funneling is about. So what I have created is, I have everything that I found interesting. I don't read it. I don't read it if I'm in my car or in a shopping mall. I don't read. I have a block of time, a specific deep work time for reading, and you should too. And this is one of the things that I changed meanwhile I was researching this topic. So when learning, you need to have a defining goal. You need to have a structured time for each specific stage. In this stage, I just focus. If I find something that I'm interested in, I just scroll it over. I send an email to me. You can bookmark it. You can do whatever you want, but you need to have, this is pretty important, you need to have one place where you can have everything. And the reason for this is, one of the things that I found is that I have a lot of bookmarks in different places. I have collections in Edge. I have a folder where I save all my webpage references that I found on Chrome. I also have Feedly. I also have the Booksmart on Twitter. I also have a list of Excel references that I found. So I have a lot of, I save a lot of data. I save a lot of references. And I don't know where I can go or where I can find where I'm going to need something. So that's what I tell you. Hey, try to have all the references that you like, excuse me, in one place. So I send everything that I found interesting to my email, and I have to my Outlook email. I have my specific. I have a rule there on Outlook that every reference that I send, I tag it with some words, and I have those words, and I push the email directly into the folder. So this is how my flow is set up. So it's pretty easy to do. I have a Python script to get this data and push it to a .md file, because this data is pushed to my KMS project. I'm going to explain you in another meeting what KMS means for me. It's knowledge management system, but that's for another topic. That's for another video. So yeah, that's my complete funnel stage. Funnel is pretty important. Is how you filter information. Is how you make that information accessible to you in the manner that you're going to use it, and that you can, at least every week, you can go to that list and you can say, hey, I read a lot of this cool stuff, but you need to have a set block of time for this specific time. So after you finish so I'm always going through during the day, indexing, filtering things, and funneling things, funnel information. Every reference that I found, every book, everything, I try to push everything to there, and I have that script running on a daily basis, pushing all that information in a single file on a weekly basis. So this makes easy the second stage. The second stage for learning that I have defined is active learning. I also call it indexing, but active learning. What is active learning? Active learning is not the same as learning. It's not the same as reading. It's not the same as just trying to understand. Okay, active learning for me has different steps. The main, and this is one of the pretty changes that I think I made with this system. So you need to start with a question. You need to start with a question. Even if you are studying for a certification, even if you are doing some researching, you start with questions. So you have some set of hypotheses, and you start trying to set those hypotheses and trying to prove those hypotheses. Or maybe you just need to know something, and you just make a question and try to find the answer. And now is where you go first with those references that you already funneled on the first stage. You got me? So you stage number one, you funnel information, you keep it there in one centralized place. Step two, start with one question. So that way you just focus on one thing. Okay? And when learning, this is pretty important, because right now we are in the digital era, and everything and everyone is pushing content over there. Everyone is trying to get your attention, and you're trying to learn a lot of stuff that's not great at the same time. So you're trying to learn, for sure, a lot of stuff at the same time. That's not great, because that's not good. One of the main things for learning fast and quicker is focus. So you need to start focus on one question, on a set of related questions, because you can start, let's say, I want to understand how Azure works, how cloud works. So you start doing questions. Okay, what is cloud computer? What is infrastructure as a service? What is platform as a service? What is the difference between on-premises data center and Azure data centers? What other cloud providers exist? Azure, AWS, GPC. So you have different questions, but those questions maybe are related. So you put those questions in one place, and you start writing down, trying to find the answer for each of those questions. Step number one, the stage two, define the question to answer. Okay, so now in the step two, of the stage two, you define and select concept and structures and idea. So this is pretty important, because okay, you know already what answer to what question to answer. So you go to a lot of references. You spend I used to spend this for this specific step. I spend like 24 hours at least. I try to index as much as possible. I read, I see videos, I hear a lot of podcasts. I try to index the main concept ideas, and I grab everything that is repetitive on those references, and I started to put those concepts, ideas, in a specific place on my knowledge management system, in my second brain, as a note. So I took those notes, and I pushed them there. And after that, step number three, I segregate something that I call segregation of depth of knowledge. And this is pretty important, because when you start trying to understand a topic or answer your question through understanding, you don't want to, or you don't need to learn everything at the same time. So there are knowledge, for me, there are depth, there are levels of knowledge. So you just need to start, you need to start little by little, but you need to define what is little by you, right? I don't used to do that. I used to be like open to a lot of concepts and ideas. I love it. Hey, this is great. There is a lot of content here that I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to read it. By the way, I read it. I used to forget it after that. few days after that. So right now, you define the question. I'm going to start from the beginning. You define the question, you select the main ideas and concepts, and you segregate your level of knowledge. I call it depth of knowledge. So you separate those concepts and ideas in different levels, and you say, okay, in this time, in this learning, I'm going to understand the level 1, let's say. Okay? Because I need to understand all the questions that I'm going to also understand to level 1. So at some point in future, maybe you want to understand that specific, for some other reasons, that specific topic to the level 2, so where you already have level 1 completed. So this is pretty important. So after that, you learn and understand that it's pretty important to put this level through stages. So that's how you iterate of the how you iterate over the same knowledge. And the main idea here is create memorization objects. What is memorization objects? Mental maps. I'm going to talk about it in another meeting. Another video. How mental map works, how mental palaces works, what type of system you can use for memorization. But you can start just with putting notes there that you are going to start memorizing. Why? Because memory, if you learn your memory, you start thinking better about this topic, and you have in your mind a better framework to think deeper and to go to level 2 and so forward. So after you create those objects for memorizations, you just recall. So you have a flashcard application, you put those notes there, and every day you need to have a block time, specific time, maybe in the morning, and you go review every day. You review as much of those flashcards as you want. And after that, you just create a video, create a post, create a blog, and deliver the data, deliver the knowledge that you have. This is the same thing that I'm doing right now. Why? Because you have guys like you right now listening, and they have opinions, they have idea, they have challenge idea. They say, hey, they can say, hey, what you're talking is it doesn't make any sense to me. So you are wrong. And maybe that's a good way to validate your knowledge while you're learning. And that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I hope you also get something good from this video. So I'm going to recap everything. Stage 1, funnel information. You filter information, put it in a centralized place, and you have a specific way to go through that references from time to time. Okay, stage 2, active learning. Active learning is different than learning. It's pretty important. Why? Because when you say active learning, you know that you're going to do a lot of work. It's not like a lot of apps that they're trying to sell you how you can learn faster, how you can create flashcards, how you can share your collection, your flash. No. Do a lot of works, because at the end it's something that matters for you. If it's something that matters for you, you need to do a lot of work. You need to do a lot of work. Everything that matters has to have a lot of work. And the good thing is, as much as you work on the same topic, as much as you share with the world, as much as you write, as much as you read, as much as questions you think about, you learn more, you learn faster. So, okay, let's go back. Define question to answer. This is the stage 2. Define question to answer. Select key definition, concept, structure, and idea. Segregate depth and knowledges. Each depth or level of understanding define a different set of concepts and ideas to learn and understand. Consume data and resources. Step number 4. Create memorization objects, image association, mental palace, mental map, and flashcard. And 6, recalling, spell repetition, speak out loud repetition, listening repetition, recording repetition, handwritten repetitions. And step number 7 is repeat the whole stage 2 if needed. So in the stage number 3 is pretty simple, it's just delivering. I hope you get something pretty useful about this video. I'm trying to learn how to talk to you. I hope you have some ideas. Comment down below. I'm going to put the whole post that I'm trying to make a video right now on my webpage. So go there and you have like a more defined more defined or detailed posts on this topic. I'm going to start sharing and specific videos about this because it's a pretty important topic for me, and my only intent is to be better learning and help you become better when learning and when reading. By the way, I have another video just how to read. This is pretty important stuff. How to read. I'm going to tell you something about how to read. Okay? How to read. Well, that depends of where you're looking, right? So if you have a clear goal, you can use the stage number 2. That's the first thing you can do, right? The same thing. So you go to that specific reference. It's a book, a video, a podcast, and you separate the concepts, the main ideas, you go to levels, you define objects for each level. When I say object is a concept, a mind map, a diagram, whatever you can use for you can put information better on your brain and never forget about it. And after that, you push that information into a flashcard application. It's pretty important you have a flashcard application, and you start recalling that information every day. I started this just to do this 1 week ago. I will tell you in the future what is my progress about it. But every book I learned few things. The main thing that I learned is the title and the author. I do some quick research about the author and I put some notes. I like to memorize those notes. The second thing is structure. I like to memorize the structure of books. I'm planning to do a lot of memorizing about those structures. And why structures? Because at the end, if you remember, from my point of view, you remember the structures of the books that you that you have written. The main ideas are there. So it's like you go through your brain and this is the Moonwalking with Einstein book. It's a book about how you can memorize. It's written by Joshua Foer. Okay, it has 11 chapters. The latest chapter is epilogue. In every of those chapters, we talk about how we can use science and for a better understanding of how we can learn and memorize better. So this is the only things that I have indexed for this book. Okay, I already know the title, the name of the guy that wrote this book, and I'm learning right now. I'm in level 3 because every of those topics that I told you is a different level, and now I'm trying to memorize the structure and the main idea for each chapter. If you do this with at least 20 books, in my opinion, is better than reading 50 books. I don't remember everything. And this is another important idea that I have in my mind. Why read all the books if you're not going to remember? So why not, let's say, instead of reading all the books, why not go through a lot of summary? Why not try to remember a lot of book summaries that you like to know? I'm thinking about this, by the way. So, because at the end, if you define your knowledge in levels and your level of understanding in levels, so just a piece of summary, it will be enough for level 1, let's say, right? So maybe in level 2, you go deeper and you buy the book and you go deeper on that specific topic. So think about this. This is how I approach reading books right now. So, but anyways, this framework that I'm just sharing with you, go to the website, is useful for anything that you're going to learn. I'm going to avoid you a lot of time, research. But if you go, you can also research. These 3 stages is how you should learn today. And I hope this video has some value for you. See you in the next video. Ciao. Bye-bye.